I just need to think, man.
Boy, ain't nobody can do that.
Nigga, you so damn useless.
You better watch how you talk to people, dear Guts. You sit around in people's houses insulting them. You better stand up and make a decision about how you getting out of here.
Nigga, just leave me alone. God damn.
Make the decision.
Nigga.
Keep standing still. You're gone, boy. You're wasting time. And the only people who got time are dead. And if you're dead, I'm gonna take them shoes. And your wallet. And that shirt.
You all right? Okay.
And now that it's over, I'll never be sober. I couldn't believe, and now I'm so high. And now I'm so high.
And what is happening, everybody? It is your boy Blake Money Blakeweather. Welcome to another episode, Unfiltered Bachelor, the Atlanta Breakdown Series. We are on episode, 8, The Woods. And this is a phenomenal episode. Before I dig into it too much, just want to give a quick shout out to the show. If you're listening to this right now, click like, follow us, share this with a friend that loves Atlanta. Follow us anywhere where podcasts are, your favorite podcast app, Stitcher, iTunes, Spotify, whichever that is. And now, let's get into the panel. Our first host is our newest host and has been our awesome host for the majority of, all of season 2, the majority of season 2, minus one episode, and part of season 1. You know him, you love him from the mean streets and mountains of Denver, Colorado. It's Terry. What's up, Terry?
Hey, Blake. How's it going?
Good, brother. Good. Doing real solid. How you doing?
Just trying to get used to this mountain air and, being, a mile up and getting used to that. That's something.
Yeah.
So it's always interesting when you move to a new place and have to, get used to breathing again.
Yeah. But it's cool. At least, there's no cedar. I can breathe through my nose. I mean, it's kind of difficult, but I can breathe through it. It comes through now.
Love it.
I'm also guessing it didn't hit 110 yesterday for you, so that must have been nice.
Oh, no, dude. It was a nice 78. It was lovely.
That sounds so perfect.
Well, you heard his voice. You know him. You love him. It is our other co-host, your neighbor with the flavor, your guy on the fly. I wish you could see his hair right now, because he would.
It's not good.
He would show it off, and he would love every second of it. It is Jeff. What's up, Jeff?
How's it going, guys? How are you guys doing?
I hope they're doing good. I feel like everybody's answering like, "Hey, we're doing great." But I don't know for sure.
All things considered, we're all like, "Yeah, I'm doing really great," but we're all saying it like, "Yeah, I'm doing great."
I want to get into these episodes.
Things are awesome.
I just want to get to to these episodes. I don't care if people know about my life. I want to talk about the episodes now.
well, Terry, let's get into it, man. Episode 8, The Woods. Your top 3 takeaways, anything. Oh, wait. Before we even get into it, Jeff.
Let's do the IMDb.
Hit us with the IMDb before we get started with our top 3.
All right. First and foremost, this is an 8.9 rating. 8.9. Directed by Hero again. The beautiful Hero.
He is our hero.
We got 2 pieces of trivia on this one. He is our hero. He is Blake. We got 2 pieces of trivia here. First, most scenes were filmed in East Point, including Headland Delow, which I'm assuming if you have been to or are familiar with Atlanta, the actual city, that makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
But then next, Brian Tyree Henry, Paperboy, said in an interview with GQ that this episode is partially a metaphor for grief. His mother actually passed away during the end of shooting season 1. And this is clearly, you know, I think we can all agree this is supposed to be a year after Paperboy's mom passed. Or at least the anniversary.
Okay, that part I didn't get, but I could get down with that.
It's definitely an anniversary.
Is it?
We'll get into it.
Okay, for sure. Terry, kick us off with our top 3 today, sir.
So for top 3, ooh, this is a pretty good one because I have a lot of moments.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say, top 3 is just of course Wally, the old homeless man that we see.
Oh yeah.
Just we'll get into more about him later, but just his whole spiel, what he's doing. Is he real? I don't know. I don't know if he's actually real. But you see, just Sierra, another character that we get to see for this episode. I mean, she embodies what we see now, like the Insta girl. She straight up says, "I am Instagram famous," and that's our world we live in, where people can legitimately be Instagram famous, where they get free products, they get money for talking about products. People want to, just like as we see those 2 girls that ran up to Sierra get their picture taken. It's Instagram. We all kind of think it's stupid, but it can make you famous. She's right.
Right.
And just at the very beginning, I still haven't looked this up, but I need to, and I'm kind of ashamed that I don't really know the origin of this meaning, is when Darius says he's going to put his foot up in the food that he's cooking. And then he literally does it. So I was like, wait, I need to look up that saying, because I've heard it before, but I'm not really sure where it came from. And I don't really, does it really involve putting your foot in it? Don't know.
Maybe
I'm not sure.
Maybe not literally.
Who makes his own pasta?
Have you ever put your foot in your pasta?
I've never put my foot in anything.
Oh man, Jeff, top three. Go ahead and back no.
Well, so my first one, I'm just going to cover the one that Terry already basically covered. Wally, I don't think he's real. I think Wally's a figment of Paperboy's imagination. And for a while there, I was like, is this supposed to be like Paperboy from the future, or Paperboy like goes down, like just loses it all right now? Then Sierra is the most fake human being on earth. Holy shit. Like you were saying, yeah, she's that Instagram girl and stuff, but like, and it's funny because this is before, like, she's not even calling herself an influencer. She's Instagram famous. So like, man, Gambino knew what was going to happen. But she's just so goddamn fake. I mean, when she's like, well, your brand and my brand can, hook up. Like, we don't even need to fuck that much, It's just like, she's not even interested in Paperboy. She's interested in his brand and what it can do for hers. And fuck, I hated that person so much. Then my number 3 is those 3 little fuckhead kids that jump Paperboy. Robin season's over. We covered in the last episode. This is past. Last episode was New Year's Eve /day. So there's no more robbing season. Like, robbing season is to get ready for Christmas, according to Darius. So they're just little assholes. And I hated them even more for it.
Interesting. I to touch on that, I think our perception, I get it, like, when Darius says, like, it's Robin season and it's around this time of year. I think for the sake of the show, though, still in the show, we are in second season, which is still Robin season. You know what I mean? And so I think that was a good element that's still, like, even though the seasons change, some shit in this season still stays the same. And I think that's one of the primary elements of that. I got a few things with this. One, and some of these you guys took, so I wrote down a whole bunch because there's a whole bunch to cover in this. But why are Sierra's windows so dirty in her car? I don't know if you noticed this, but when Paperboy's in the car, her windows are dirty as fuck. And I don't know if that's supposed to be an analogy or something.
Her driver's side one, that's when you get this shit. when it's foggy and you don't wait for the defogger to do its work and you just wipe it yourself. And you got like a little bit of dirt on your hand.
Oh, yeah, okay. You smudge it around, you smudge that moistness.
Yep.
What a word right there. Shout outs to Al's mom, the ghosts of it, or what we perceive as like a ghost, or like is it like him having a daydream? Yeah, like him kind of just imagining this. And it's never referenced, he never brings it up, he never tells anybody about it. Instead, and we'll get into like sort of the themes and the shit of the episode, but even to touch on, Terry was talking about the old homeless guy in the woods. Is he real? Is he not? Like, we never really know. But
he has a name, Wally.
Wally.
like the robot, much like the robot. Yes.
Wally.
I think I imagine we're led to believe a lot of this is we'll get into it too, but a lot of it's sort of Al's Paperboy's internal mental growth, and so perhaps both Wally and of course, as we see in the beginning, I think it's sort of foreshadowing what we expect to come. It's not real. Like, it's his mind sort of, in the words of Ghetto Boys, his mind playing tricks on him. So shout outs to Al's mom ghost. And then I also love, has he finally come to terms with his fame by the end of this episode? He voluntarily took pictures with this white boy and was standing there for all the pictures. He was like, hey man, let's change faces, you know what I mean? Let's switch faces up, and like,
yeah, he was even like, do a mob face.
Yeah. And so he's A-okay with this. Like, he's starting to just be like, you want to take a picture, man? Like, I know what you want. Right. It's interesting to see where this episode, and we'll get into it now since that's my 3, but this episode is I think in effect, it did for Paperboy what the last episode I think did for Van, or what Van's only episodes do for her, which is just like character growth. You know what I mean? You go into a situation and you come out of it a whole new changed person. And same thing with Darius too. That was his last episode, right? When he through the Teddy Perkins episode, he went into it one way and came out of it like a whole like changed person in a certain sense. And the same with Van, went into one thing, came out of it a whole changed person. And I think that's exactly what this episode is.
They're crucible episodes. Yes. You got to break the person down and change them into something new.
Yes, I think that's exactly what this is. And we see that it's funny because it's back to back to back to back to back episodes like that.
Right.
And yeah, man, it really, and this one's really more so though, I think less of it is the elements, but it's also literally Paperboy is one of our, I'd say, top 2 main characters, him and Earn. And so it's interesting to see that the episode is a mental battle. It's a mental struggle. It's not just the elements and like it's fucking with them like it was with the barbershop episode, which again, I would say that's in effect a funnier Crucible episode, right?
God, Benny.
I don't know. I'm going on and on about this, but I think that's a real heavy theme in this episode.
Yeah, I'll give you that, man. I would definitely agree with you. And I mean, this one is, you see a literal physical breakdown and change. I mean, he gets jumped pretty fucking bad, you know?
I didn't expect that shit until like, even when the line, I remember watching this for the first time, and like, even the line was like, the kids were like, well, shit. And I'm like, okay, what's going to happen? Oh, shit, they're beating him up.
That little shit. I was like, well, they're about to jump you. Like, I could, like, the second, it was literally that line, it was, well, shit. That little fuck kid, I was like, oh, they're going to jump him.
And it's funny, too. This is exactly, you know what this reminds me of? And Terry, you probably appreciate this, too. Because I think we've talked about this show a lot previously. It reminds me of the Chappelle episodes where it would be like when Keeping It Real goes wrong. like Paperboy.
Exactly. It is because this whole time, that's what he keeps talking about. I keep it real. I keep my brand real because I'm real. I'm not into this fake shit. And guess what? We see where him wanting to keep it real gets some.
Yes.
You want to be real? Well, this is your real life. This is the real gangster life. It's fighting for everything you want. Always and waiting for the next man to try and take it from you as soon as you get something. That's the reality I wants, and he had to face it right then and there. And then, like you said, at the end of the episode, where his little white fan comes up to him, that's supposed to be the fake. But you see how the fake treats him was just, I just want to take a picture with you, and I admire you. But, keeping it real, when people know who you are, you want to be real. Well, you're going to end up like my boy, XXXTentacion. Rest in peace. He kept it real, too, and...
Oh yeah, Extension. Yeah, R.I.P. to him. He had some good music. I want to get into there's a little couple things that are touched on in here, and one of them I was reading in an article. So shout outs to Vulture.com. Go guys, if anybody's interested in Atlanta, I'd recommend reading a few of their articles where they do break down each episode when it came out back in 2018, 2016, Blase Blam. But one of them sort of alluded to the fact, do we find out why Paperboy and Darius were fighting in the first episode? And is it alluded to the fact of girls and girlfriends? And
you know what? I was thinking that in this episode.
Really?
I know exactly which part you're talking about. When Darius is getting ready, he's making the fire pasta and shit, and Paperboy's like, "Oh, that's my right, Sierra's here," and Paperboy's like, and Darius is like, "Oh, really?" And you can feel just a little bit of tension when Paperboy turns around. He's like, "What, man?"
Yes.
Like you feel just a little tension, but it goes away immediately, and they're cool again. But I was like, oh, I haven't felt this tension between those two since episode 1.
Yeah, and if you notice in episode 1, remember that girl was staying there that Ern got her name wrong, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you're
Yeah.
whatever her name was." She's like, "Who's that?" And he's like, it's a girl in high school, and like you remind me of her, and
You look so alike."
I always think Lisa, you know what I mean? But yeah, I thought that was an interesting tidbit, and it absolutely would make sense because the girl was sort of staying with them and was at a point of contention and is at a point of contention. Will that be a point of contention between Darius and Paperboy? I thought that was fascinating. Another thing I liked was, and this is a small thing, and maybe you guys noticed it, maybe you guys didn't. When Sierra texts Paperboy, did you notice her number wasn't saved? Like, it didn't have a saved name. It was just her number.
What? That wasn't her.
That wasn't her?
Was that her? Because that was like right after he like told her, to fuck off, and he walked away. He's sitting in that parking lot.
Yeah.
And he gets that random text. So I don't think that was her.
Okay.
I agree. It's not her. And here's my so here's it all comes together. Today is the anniversary of his mom's death, and that I'm saying that because 1, he was dreaming about her, but 2, Ern says, "Hey, how you doing today, man?"
Yeah.
Then that text says, "Hey, thinking about you today, heart." That's 2 people that know what the day is and know that he's having these troubles. And fuck, even Wally in the Woods is like, "Your mama was right about you." All of it is, it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying this is the anniversary.
Really?
And,
I think that's fascinating to catch that point. I didn't think about that at all.
Man.
Huh.
And so I think that's someone, like maybe even just like a relative who's just like, "Hey, just thinking about you today. I love you, nephew, love you, cuz," something like that.
Really?
Yeah, I thought maybe it could have been Van's number, but I'm pretty sure he had Van's number saved, right?
At one point he did,
don't know.
but they changed phones.
He changed his phone so much, so maybe
For some reason,
I don't know.
I just got the feeling it was Ern's mom. I was like, that feels like an aunt thing to text someone,
Could be.
Interesting.
I don't know. That's just the feeling I got from it. But like, I am I'm 98% sure today's the anniversary this episode happens on the anniversary.
I 100% back that.
I like that. I like that theory. I'm not at all debating that.
That's also, by the way, why I do not think it was Sierra, because Sierra didn't fucking know. She's giving him shit with like, why do you got such an attitude today? Why are you being so like
snappy
today? Like she couldn't. And once again, she's the most fake person on earth.
Yeah, she does. And again, I think to collate, to whatever, to combine, to in cooperation with to build upon, yes, to collaborate with the idea that this is robbing season. It's almost like she's trying to rob him of his fame, right? Like when she's like, "Hey, we should combine brands," and it's like, even Paperboy, you think back and he's like, man, I went to that strip club all the time. Like, you could have just been some other hoe with fat ass and stretch marks, which I thought was fucking hilarious that he said that, because it was just like, God damn.
I thought she was going to snap.
And she just laughs. She just laughs it off.
I did not think she was going to laugh like that, man.
It's very interesting. We also see what looks like the beginnings or the hedgings of dogging on Ern's career to even be a manager. It starts to be hinted at.
Oh, yeah.
In this episode. And it'll come to light when we do the breakdown for the next episode. Shout outs to the next episode. But like, it's hinted at here. When she's like, just have your manager get you some shit. He's like, nah, he don't do all that. Like,
he don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know,
He's
we
not about that.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's not his skill set.
He doesn't do all that. And another thing I want to notice, there is a time, and we can come back to that real quick, but there's a time, just because I saw it and I took a picture of it, the time of the clock when they show the Atlanta the theme, right? The Atlanta theme card when it starts the episode. The time is 11:46, and he has a missed call from Tracy, a missed call from Ern, and he has an unknown missed call, which is very fascinating that they decided to show those three at that time. I don't know what that time is meant for. I wonder if that time is even important. Like, I'm sure it is. Like, every time I feel like it's important if they show it.
When he was dreaming about his mom, she was saying, I can't believe you're still asleep. It's almost noon.
It's almost noon. Also, it's January.
And if that's a memory, then maybe that's part of it.
Right.
You know?
I don't know. But we also know what day it is. It's January 9th. It says it on the phone, too.
Oh, that I did not pick up on. Good catch, man.
Hey, you guys are what? We should write that on the IMDb facts. Terry, we got to get on this. But did you have
just another
go
thing
ahead.
to point out about the opening scene about his mother and how we know it's a dream and a metaphor, or just a dream, is that while she's cleaning and humming her gospel song, remember the gospel song, the lights in the room are all bright. It's bright and sunny.
Mm-hmm.
But as Al starts to wake up, because you keep hearing the phone buzz and it's buzzing louder and louder, then he finally opens his eyes and wakes up. You notice that the room just darkens where she was supposed to be at.
Yeah.
As she, disappears. It's like, nothing's there. Al just basically turns around and he looks, and nothing's there. So it's like,
Wow.
He was having one of those dreams where, you're kind of awake and you can hear things, and then you wake up and you're like, oh, wait. Nobody's here, nothing. It was just a dream, and so that's what Al was doing.
Although something was there, because remember, his mom was going through picking stuff up, and cleaning for him, and when he looks over there, it's got like a bunch of dirty clothes on the chair, which his mom had just picked up.
Yeah. Like he was. You see her move the stuff, but when he wakes up and it goes dark, all that stuff's just there again.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The only question I have is, was it a dream or a memory? Was he having a random dream, or was he dreaming of a memory? Basically,
I think he might have been dreaming of a memory.
I
could see that maybe his mom probably still came by every now and then and cleaned up.
Right. How about the fact that Wally and the random person at the gas station at the end were humming the same gospel tune?
Yeah, that's why I say remember the God. I was going to bring that up.
Wow, I didn't
singing
notice that.
Same gospel tune.
Yeah, man.
Interesting. I didn't notice that at all. But like, good.
Oh, totally, dude.
Good catches. This is so we think, or we can put context pieces together. We know January 9th is the day of that. So now I want to return to a point of when we meet Paperboy and Earn meets Paperboy in season 1, and we assume it's close to around that time, I suppose. I know this is kind of off the beaten path, but I'm just thinking about it right now as we're putting context clues together. No?
Well, so when they met in season 1, it had to be after January 9th. Because Paperboy says, I haven't seen you since my mom's funeral.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a big part of episode 1.
And so, and we do know his mom is dead, for sure. Like, even if we didn't already know that based on this episode, we know that now.
To the point where, when I was watching this episode, when I was rewatching it the first time, I was like, wait, what the did she say my son? And I was about to go back and rewatch the first episode, but then I realized it was a dream.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, man, but I think we get a lot of. I like a lot of what this episode does, and even the minute points of, you know what, man, they even have just. Even as we have character growth, like the season does a lot of great things in every episode in season 2. We always have the theme of robbing. We always have the theme of horror, which we had with Paperboy being in the woods, right? And I think I want to touch on that because that was done so phenomenally well, the theme of horror. And we always have the theme of racism in every single fucking episode. And this one's not any different.
And it was an interesting take on this one, though.
Yeah, well, it starts with them being in the stores. And, like, it's white people clearly working. And, like, it's just, when you see Paperboy, like, walking around and there's a white lady there, and you're just like, what's going to happen? He's just like, they have this weird exchange where Paperboy just, it looks uncomfortable if you're him to be there. And if you're, the cool thing with the camera is, you're an observer. It's like as if you're in the store observing this going on, and it looks so uncomfortable. And like the white ladies there are like looking at Paperboy and looking at Sierra, and it looks fucking just uncomfortable as fuck, man. And what a time!
And every time he moves by her, he's like announcing his actions. He's like,
I was
"Hey,
just gonna say
how
that,
you doing?
Yeah,
I'm going over here. Okay,
it was awkward enough. I made sure to I went back and reread what he said like twice because I was like, God damn.
Like,
which, once again, one of those things where, as a white guy, I never would have thought of it. I would never think to be like, well, I'm going to go look at these clothes now. Thank you. Like, I mean,
it's sad that like, yeah, it's sad that like, it's that like, and it's pointed out, like, you know what I mean? And it's so clear and again, what an episode, what a series to break down as the breakdown happens around us in the world right now. You know what I mean? Like it's just fucking insane. But I love that it's subtle. It's not the main focus of this episode, and it's not even the main focus. It's never the main focus, but it's always in the background. It's always never forgotten about. You know what I mean?
Because it's just supposed to be. It's because it's a given. You're a black man in Atlanta. Racism all the time.
I think it always touches on my favorite theme, the stunting and fronting.
Stunting and fronting.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just Instagram right there. That's nothing but, fronting a stunt. Everything's fake on Instagram, except for my Instagram. All those pictures are taken by me. That's at Terry F as in Frank Photos, Terry F Photos. Check those out.
And I'm still a fan of that squirrel picture, man.
Oh yeah, that's squirrel
picture. Squirrel nice. That we ended up voting for.
I don't think I won. They haven't emailed me, so I guess I didn't win. Oh well.
You need to tell them. You need to tell them you have a podcast and you can call them out.
So both with the stunting and the fronting and the racism, one of each of those for fucking Sierra in the store. just turning and, excuse me, we need help. He needs to see a bunch of sizes in these shoes, yelling so everyone in the store can hear it. But then, how about her in the nail salon?
The fucking nail salon is the fucking, oh my God.
No, you speak English in front of me. And it's like, oh.
Yeah, it's just no. That's a no for me. No.
Girl, you're sounding like you're from my block.
Yeah. And I feel like that's what does it for Paperboy. It's just why he says that she's just not real anymore. Because, like, he's real. He knows that's a service person. He knows that's an immigrant. He knows what it's... And it's like, we're black. Why are you attacking this other foreign person? You know what it's like. Why are you being the evil? What? It's like she's been corrupted by her fame. And that's what Paperboy is afraid of. And that's what really makes him real. I think it's just the whole episode is fear for him.
Yeah.
And you see right there, she is what he fears to be turned into. He does not want to be her, all fake. He doesn't want to forget where he comes from and everything. You know, he doesn't want to treat
the
like
Kardashian effect.
Yeah.
When you get a little too famous.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, all you see is Paperboy's fears, like, come into life, and she's one of them.
Oh, totally. And I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, like, you see it literally. That's the moment when he really gets pissed at her, when she snaps on them like that. Like, you just see his face drop, and you just see like his eyes go anger, and it's like, fuck yeah, Paperboy.
Yeah, it's
because you're real.
She definitely pulls an old Karen move in the nail salon though, huh? And it gets awkward as fuck. Like, you see, I think, a minority be mean to another minority. And I don't know if we've seen something like that in this series just yet.
You do, because remember with when they go to the hookah bar.
Oh,
the Nigerian guy.
So, I was just going to say, and Darius's views on Nigerians.
Yeah.
Well, no, the African bar, the hookah owner, who's like doesn't take the 20, right? Is that what we're talking about, or the 100?
The 100, yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of them. It's kind of him being racist towards black people. Like, he's black, clearly, a different, I guess, from a different country, a different continent.
Oh, yeah.
But like in this case, it was just so like it's everything that we So in this series, we see black people be the victims of racism. In this episode, Sierra's not playing the victim; she's being the one who is the aggressor, and we see these like Asian people be like. They're the victim now. Somebody else is the victim, you're like I get cringe. Like, I'm like, ooh, fuck. Like, God damn it, Sierra, don't do that.
Right, yeah,
like, every single
like,
time, I'm like, no.
Well, I mean, maybe it's just me, but my first thought was, oh, that's racist. Ooh, I mean, it is, but should I say that? Like, but a funny thing that I just thought of, because you brought up the hookah bar. So the interesting thing is, not only do we have I'm going to assume the hookah owner was Nigerian just because of this show.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're, and the little, that just seems like one little funny thing they would slide in there to connect to something from before.
One big inside joke. It's like always Nigerians.
So
yeah.
The Nigerian owner is racist against black people. And then the funny part is the cop that comes to kick her out is also black, and he even gets outside and goes, man, I'm sorry. We all know it's real, but...
Yeah, owner tripping.
Yeah, no.
Owner tripping, yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that an interesting correlation with what's going on in the world today?
Fascinating.
Can I say this? How scared would you guys be to be literally lost, not even a clue of which direction is out in the middle of the woods in Georgia?
It'd terrifying.
It'd be terrifying.
Holy shit.
Now I want to point something out. The time that we've seen characters go into the woods is very limited.
Migos.
Right. Well, so the first time we ever see a character go into the woods, he seems very like, is he even fucking real? And then we realize a few episodes later he is real. It's Ahmad White.
Tell him, man.
Ahmad White, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Disappears.
He disappears into the woods.
Mr. Chloe.
Right. And so he's almost the like for me, like let's touch on a few things. What do we know about the woods so far prior to this episode? We know that this sort of mystic guy goes into the woods, and we know he's A-okay. We know he's a little weird, and he likes Nutella sandwiches and juice, and that's A-okay. And he helps people, but like he's got this sort of
has very strong feelings on whether or not people eat those sandwiches.
Do you want to be as wise as a baby dolphin? Yes or no? I mean, come on. But like, so we know this sort of first of all, off bat, we know there's sort of mysticism about the woods in general, right? Because that character walks into the woods, and then we see the dog around the woods at the beginning of episode 1, right, with a dog with a Texas on him. Second time we ever see somebody run into the woods or us go into the woods was the Migos episode. And they literally had a guy run into the woods and get shot at. Now, that time it wasn't so good for that guy.
What's it called? The greatest game? Where you hunt a human?
Oh, yeah. It was basically...
The most dangerous game?
The most dangerous game. That's what it's called, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's basically that, right? It's the pest all over again. But so we know, what do we know about the woods so far at that point? We know that like it's maybe some mystic weird shit going on. We know that people die. We know those two things going into this episode, right? We know some weird shit happens in the woods. So when we see Paperboy, what's happening with him? He's getting shot at. And I remember watching this episode and thinking, like, the last time I saw a guy run into the woods and get shot at, he died. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How
go
crazy
ahead.
was that, by the way? Those kids weren't just robbing him. Now they're actively hunting him. Why? They have his shit.
Robbing season's not enough, man. It's a crazy. I'm actually on that scene right now where they're. And it's crazy
I hate
too.
those 3 fucking kids. So.
It's crazy too because all the signs are here at this point. Before I get into conclude my woods point, but all the things are there when they look at him. Like that one kid, the camera sort of focuses on the one kid with the ice cup, kind of looking at. You see, he looks at the watch, and you're just like, what in the like? When you rewatch it, you're like, oh fuck.
You also notice, so like, imagine the camera's the one kid and these are the other kids. You also notice that instead of standing here and continuing to talk to him, these two go
around him. Yeah,
they flanked him. They acted exactly like a pack animals, man.
Yeah, it was.
But,
go ahead.
You know,
I saw Jurassic Park.
they make one good point though. At the very beginning, they make a really good point, and it's just that there's no zero gravity scenes in Star Wars.
I mean, how would that one kid know? He's never even seen it.
Yeah, you never fucking seen it, man.
And as soon as he said that, I was just like, wait, yeah, they should never
I love
do
that so much.
They're in space a lot.
I think that's a beautiful line that's included, right? It's so disarming when we're upon these kids.
It's very disarming. Yes,
They're
Star Wars nerds.
They're.
I was also like, that's so Gambino. He's a Star Wars nerd, you know? Of course he'd write that into a fucking show.
But it's so just it's very much like any good suspense film. It's so disarming. You don't suspect. When you don't suspect, and then the chase is on, like just like that. It catches you off guard, and I think we're very caught off guard. The tension builds just slightly. I would have preferred a little bit something different, but like when it was on, and the whole time that you are Paperboy, you are in suspense of like, is our guy gonna make it out A-okay? Because we don't know. He's not a mystic like fucking Ahmad White, and we hope he doesn't turn out like that. Like that one guy that got shot by Percy. You know what I mean? Shout out.
He doesn't have Darius's shamanic powers.
No, it's him by himself. That's his compass. I think he. You know, the more and more we think about this, Darius is his compass, is his moral compass in life, like damn near. I think that's why he keeps him close. The more and more that I think about it as I'm talking, and he doesn't have the compass. It's him in this place that's he's in Atlanta, but he's not in Atlanta at the same time, which is so fucking weird to think about. It's this whole other place he's never been to.
So have you guys ever been in a forest at night where there are like no streetlights?
And Boy Scouts.
It's fucking dark. Like, you can't imagine the level of dark until you're there, and it's insane. So I can't even imagine. Thank God it was a bright moon night for him, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Imagine if it was a new moon and you couldn't see shit. But then, two, speaking of compasses, this is why I think Wally might be a figment of his imagination, is because what gets him out of the forest? Wally threatening him right when he decides to stop and sit down and take a break. His own subconscious being like, no, don't you fucking stop. Don't give up. We are not staying in here.
I like that.
Here's something to blow your minds.
Facts.
Could Wally, if Wally is, I would say is fake, but could Wally be a fake memory and manifestation of his dad?
Dude.
Well,
I don't want to be like play the damn stereotype of, oh, look at him, he's black, he's a gangster, he ain't got no daddy, or his dad was a crackhead.
no,
ran
his
off.
dad is his dad.
But
Ain't his
do you
dad?
see his dad?
Yeah, his dad's Cat Williams.
I don't think is it?
No, that was
if
his
it
uncle.
is, what's that uncle's name?
That's just his uncle.
I thought
the
that was
uncle's
just
name?
What? I'm sorry. What was your question, Jeff?
What is Cat Williams' character's name?
Alligator Man.
No. It's got a 5-letter name. Give you a hint. It starts with a W and ends with an LLY.
Is it Wally?
Willie.
That's right.
Wally. Terry, I think I figured out what it is, and I think it's all thanks to you.
Oh wow.
The reason they brought up Star Wars. That's a Jedi Force ghost.
Right,
That's the
yeah.
Force ghost of his dad.
Yeah, exactly. The whole thing giving him advice, like how he's walking behind him, that's like kind of doing the whole Yoda thing.
Yeah.
So you're right about that. But I'm saying Willie is just his uncle because I thought that was like, Ern's mom and Al's sister, and I thought they had the brother, which would be Willie.
That's what I thought it was too.
So I just thought he was just
wrong, but, I mean, it's been a
both
minute.
their. But I thought he was both their uncles.
Yeah, that's what I
Oh,
thought, too.
I don't think I caught that. I thought that was Al's dad for some reason.
Well, Al is paying for his house.
Yeah, like he's paying for his house. The mom's not around anymore. I thought Uncle Willie was his dad for some reason. Maybe I was wrong. I don't know.
I mean, it could be.
Yeah, I just thought that was just like their the sister's brother, both their uncles.
I mean, that absolutely could be
Bad
true.
time to. What a bad day to not carry his gun with him, huh?
Right? I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
He wants to be so real. He doesn't want to carry his gun no more. This is when
Well, he's going on a date with Sierra.
he doesn't even really like her.
It's all Sierra's fault.
He ain't got no girlfriend like that, is what he said. You know what I'm saying? He ain't into all that.
Why didn't he call a Lyft or an Uber?
That's
This is
facts.
what happens when you want to be alone with your thoughts.
Mm. Yeah.
Moral of the episode, don't think.
But back to Wally, it's just like, he says that line, he says, "Boy, you is just like your mama." And it just freezes him, and he just keeps linking him up and down, and he, that whole time he keeps telling that man to go away. So, why would he want his dad to come back if he's been gone this whole time?
Right.
But
How
I think
creepy is
Wally
it when
might
we
be
come
a
back
ghost
from
of his
commercial,
dad.
and we don't realize Wally's following him for a bit because he's so far back in the shadows.
Yeah.
You remember when they come back for that one commercial and it's completely night in the forest, and you don't even see Wally back there until you hear him humming?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you hear him humming that gospel song again.
Yep.
Interesting.
And it's good episode, man. Another good episode.
Yeah, as we round it out, like I think we've touched on a lot, and there's a lot of things I didn't even think about. But
I
like,
think if there's anything else that.
yeah, any
I'm trying to
final
remember.
thoughts? I'll hit with you with the first question, Jeff, or with the first bit of this.
I think that's all of them. Honestly, I don't think I think we covered everything. Honestly, the only final thought, and we've already covered it in so many episodes. God, I hope Gambino writes a horror movie because he is damn good at it.
And I hope it's directed by Hiro Murai. The visuals of this are so, the suspense of just having the woods just go on and on and on from that above aerial view. We don't get a lot of above aerial views, right? Like a lot of views where we're up top looking down. We do, I think, in like season 1, where we're looking at scenes and settings, and just like this,
right.
But never on character. Like it's very rarely on characters, except if it's.
The last I can really think of is episode 1 when they cut from the intro with the kids robbing the place, and it shows like flying over the town. It just says robbing season. That's the last one I can really think of. There might have been one, but I.
And the other one I can think of in this season that sticks out that's a character on character is Ern and Van, which I was just going to say. We see a lot of above aerials of Ern and Van, like especially the one where they're sleeping on opposite sides of the bed.
Right.
And so we actually get another one in the next episode. And when they do them, they make them count. But I love this. This touches on the. Terry, you mind if I go next, just real quick, just so that way I can shut the fuck up?
Yeah, go for it.
This touches on the themes of horror. Again, every episode we've watched and broken down has some sort of element of scariness and horror to it, right? Like this season is very scary. There's bits of it that are very scary, and we've touched on episodes that have to do with like monster-like creatures, right? Like if episode 1, we have the goddamn alligator, right? In the episode Helen, like there's a fucking the alligator man, and on the episode of fucking Helen, like there's a fucking little scary fucking beast. Yeah, the Foshnot, or the fucking that's Foshnot is the thing, but the Schnapperhausen whatever the fuck that little thing is that steals your iPhone apparently, like. And then all these little scary masks and shit. Episode, the barbershop season, the barbershop episode seems very just like claustrophobic, like we're trapped with fucking paperboard the whole time, even though it's supposed to be not as tense. It really isn't. It's one bad thing that happens after another. We run into all these scary bits, man. And the scary part of this is the actual woods. And it's a metaphor for growth, but it's scary to go through, and a lot of this touches on themes of horror and shit like that. So I absolutely loved it, and I love that element was still used in this episode. Terry, I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Go ahead and round us out on this episode, man.
Just this episode just has so much leeway into the very next episode because. Everything Sierra, the good things that Sierra told him, and, the things that Wally the Ghost kind of told him, you see he's picking up on. He is like, wow, I do need to start focusing more on my career. I need to stop standing still. I need to stop all this I'm so real shit and just get out there and start, actually earning money. And, in the next episode, we're going to see where... he's starting to learn. He actually did learn from this. And, that's kind of very rare to see a character learn from an episode so early on. Like the very next episode, you're like oh, man, he's learned from that last episode, didn't he?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Honestly, it's rare to see a character really learn at all. Sometimes you just write and you're like, all right, that's the character, sticking with it, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I love this episode. It was 8.9. Is that what you said?
9. Yeah, 8.9.
I could see between that and a 9.1. Like this is a very powerful episode.
I was thinking 9.1.
It's very powerful. It touches on a lot of elements that are real and not real. It blends the world that Atlanta lives in, right, which is real and not real at the same time. And it does it phenomenally well. Hiro Murai as a fucking badass director. I need to see some movies from this guy, man, especially some suspense ones.
Dude, they'd be fantastic. Something I remembered that, Blake, you bringing up the barbershop episode, I totally forgot to bring this up during the barbershop episode. I don't know about you guys, but when Benny, right? Benny's his name?
Bibby?
Bibby. When Bibby is like, oh, you want some food? And he's like, oh, you like chicken and waffles? And they go to the site and they're stealing the lumber. And I was like, that's the most ridiculous thing ever. Who would even do that? Blah, blah, blah. In my mind, I'm like, that's so fucking ridiculous. Blah, blah, blah. And I feel awful because I wanted to bring it up during that episode and I forgot. Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia, that's what he was shot for being suspected of doing. They suspected he was robbing a construction yard.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah. So while it was just like a funny thing in that episode, it was like, oh, no. People get shot over that. So what Bibby was doing, not just fucked up because Paperboy was obviously on parole and everything, but they could have fucking died.
That's insane to think about. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there was a house under construction, and the guys who shot him said that someone had been robbing other houses under construction in the neighborhood, like stealing lumber and stuff.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's insane to think about. Wow. Well, we're how surreal of an episode then at that point.
Reality imitating art, man.
Yes, and that's crazy. That's a crazy point. I hate to end this with like a sad point like that, but that is, you know what? That is the point that I think Gambino tries to make with these episodes is shit like that be happening, and sometimes it doesn't always have a happy ending. So on that point though, let's get out of here. Let's get on to the next episode, guys. This is a phenomenal episode. I want to thank each one of y'all for always taking time coming on, breaking this down with me. Let's start with fucking Jeff. Where can people find you if they want to go ahead and chat with you?
Pretty much nowhere. You can try and find me on Facebook at Jeff Madel. Try figuring out how to spell that. You can try to Skype me at Don Cheadle's driveway at littledickie2.com, or you can still stand 6 to 8 feet away from me in public with a mask on and try and talk to me. Hey, where can people find you guys?
Terry, where can people find you?
Once again, best place to find me and my work is to go to Instagram at Terry F as in Frank Photos, Terry F Photos, and you can see what I've been up to. Traveling around. Found a baby cemetery the other day. Vaccinate your kids, people. All right, we have vaccines for a reason. You don't, stay away from COVID. I don't want to see another cemetery full of children or something again. That shit'll come back.
Yeah, that should seem.
We're gonna get another one.
That should seem creepy as fuck. If in case we didn't already know, it's creepy as fuck. Guys, you can follow me, Money Blake Weather, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. You can follow the podcast, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can follow it also on your favorite podcast app, wherever podcasts are. That's where the show is: Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher. We definitely appreciate y'all tuning in, listening to this, whether it's morning, evening, afternoon. We thank y'all for tuning in, and until the next episode, we will see you. Peace.
Girl, what's your problem? 'Cause I know it's hard sometimes. Baby, just give me some time. Running out, girl, we can solve them. If you just give me some time, I can open up your mind.